Great, welcome back. This tutorial we're going to cover the menu options inside of Pages, and as you can see here I have Pages already started and I have my template chooser. I've already enlarged that template chooser. It doesn't particularly matter what we choose, but I am going to scroll down here and pick something so I can kind of show you some of the options. Get something with a little bit of text, maybe text and an image on it. Let's see if we can find a visual report. My favorite castles. It looks rather interesting. So I'll choose that template. And we'll go ahead and start to cover what happens up here when we select a menu option. Great. So we have my castles, a visual template. And we're actually going to cover a lot of these effects. How to make page curls, photo curls, and adding text and making it move around inside the page. But here we have a basic report, and I need to see the drawer, so I'm going to go ahead and open the page thumbnails drawer. We'll cover this again in a later time. And I'm going to go ahead and add a new section. So I'm going to add a text page, and I'm going to add a photos page. And I'm going to add, let's see, maybe a bibliography would be great. Okay, so I've got a basic template here, already started with some fill-in text. Of course, when you select this text, it selects all the text, and that's because it's a text placeholder, but we'll cover that in a later section. So let's jump right into the menu options and discuss what they are. The top bar here is our menu selection, and I do want to point out all these menu items that are up here. They are all available, and you can reach out and grab those tools in multiple ways. You can do it through the menu option. We can do it through the inspector. In the various inspectors here, we have a font inspector, color inspector, media inspector. And we can also do it with some of these shortcut buttons. So I'm going to show you 2 or 3 ways of doing this, but keep in mind there are multiple ways of doing this. If you're familiar with using menu options and that's the way you like to change and alter things inside of a document or a presentation, by all means, use the menu options. If you prefer the inspector, if you prefer the icons, again, use what you're comfortable with. There is no correct way of using the functions. It's all a matter of personal preference. So do set up this program to work for you, make it comfortable for you, and make sure that you can reach the tools that you want in an expedient way to make using this program as easy as possible. So let's jump right in. The first icon we have here is the Apple icon, and that doesn't actually do anything for the program. It's all about system things, with system preferences, your dock, recent items. So really, anytime you're inside of a program, that program's functions all appear up here. So if I click on the desktop, you see we have the Finder now, and there's the Finder options. So we want to make sure we have pages selected, and I do have pages selected. I can tell that it says pages up here. Actually converted to an outline. Let's see if I turn that back. There we go. So the first menu option is underneath Pages, and we have the icon for About Pages. In this case, I have Pages 2009. Most of you have Pages 2008, but rest assured you will have it next fall. And the next menu item is the Preferences pane. There's some important information in here inside this preference pane. Choosing new documents under the General tab. Choosing new documents, you can have it show the template chooser, or you can use a specific template. So we'll talk about this at a later time, but we can tell it to actually choose a specific template to use every time. In my templates, I have the Deering High School letterhead, and I can say choose. And now every single time I create a new document, in this case if I go File, New Document, I should get the Deering High School letterhead. And sure enough, it says I'm missing a Bookman font, but that's okay. The Deering High School letterhead has appeared. So if I do the keyboard shortcut, Control-N, I will get that same document every single time. I personally like the template chooser, so I'm going to stick with that. Editing. These are preferences and how you want Pages to react to you as you use the program. So keep in mind, this is again all preferences. It's about what you like the computer to do, what you don't like the computer to do. So feel free to adjust these the way you want. Editing, we have showing size and position, moving objects. What that means is when you select an object and you move it around, it shows that little outline of the object. Okay. Show auto completion list in a table. So if you were doing a table of items and you had used that value at a previous time, that would make that value appear. So let's say you kept typing the word English. English would automatically appear when you typed EN, and you could just hit enter. You wouldn't have to type the whole word. Show word count in a window at the bottom, and that's this window right here, word count. So you can turn that off if you want, and you can see it's disappeared down here, but I actually like mine on, so I'll leave that on. Backup previous versions when saving. So as soon as you hit save, it will save another copy under the backup. And it's important that we could have the backup go to another disk, so if your computer fails, it actually saved a backup copy someplace else. Include preview in the document by default. Preview is you can see the document in an icon like over here on the right hand side with the Pages user guide. Save new documents as packages. If you have a document that has multiple pages and multiple parts to it, lots of pictures and things like that, especially if you're doing like a keynote, you might want to tell it to save new documents as a package, so that way it puts everything together into one file. You don't have to save multiple pieces. Show font preview in the font menu bar, in the font menu. So if you go to, let's see, format font. No, it's not in there. Let's go back to the font menu. Where is it? Here we go. We actually get a preview of the font when we select these. So you can select a font and you can actually see the preview over here. So let's go back to there it is. And invisibles, things that are actually invisible on the page. If you tell the computer under view to show invisible items, it's somewhere in here, show invisibles, there it is. You can have it a specific color. So if you use blue a lot, maybe you want to use a color that you don't use very often.